Yeah.
So do we have to pick those dates? Again, it's 9:40, so I just want to, not that I don't love on you.
I do have one.
What do we
question
need
on
to,
that.
what do we need to talk about tonight to get to the next step?
Well, I think we just need to give direction on, do we want to do like 4 Saturday mornings, or do we want to try to take some of these cows and have some of these cow times to discuss them within our existing schedule, or would you rather do them on?
I would like to try to do it within the existing schedule. I would agree to, 1 or 2 Saturdays, but I don't want to commit to like 4. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
much-
mean Saturdays, it could be a Tuesday night.
Right, but I also know that, let's try to, I'm not trying to discourage, but I also know that as much time as you schedule, we will fill up. So, and still it won't be enough. So if we could start, pretty focused. And if we have to do more, we have to do more.
I don't
see what we can get through.
Can I ask Rebecca, thank you for this. I don't see open cows, like where we were just gonna fill in, but maybe
No,
we
there's-
do.
There's not at this point, but however, a part of it is also dependent on how judicious we become with our time and talking. I mean, some of these don't necessarily need to be cows. We could try to go about doing it in a different way. Trustee Amenta, and please note, this is something that I wanted to mention, so thank you for bringing this up. When I set up this schedule, we had to start on this stuff 2 months ago, so I had to get some stuff on paper. So we did this with the understanding that I'm not sure what you're gonna decide, maybe on the 22nd in terms for structure, so some of this may change based on your structure, and then I just go back to adapt it.
Yeah.
But I can't wait, I couldn't wait to do this, because we've already been working with it, so
Could we just take like I mean, it's just gonna be longer, whichever way you do it, you can just make the meetings longer, because you can put, say, the AIM presentation today could have been taken from Cal, put it on village board for a presentation and discussion, and then you'd have it open Cal, but it's still gonna be, I think what I'm hearing from the boards, from the majority of board members, they want it on the same schedule.
Well, we already commit a lot of hours.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
If we need to do
And
more
happy
hours
to do
that's
that.
work.
happy to do that. We could break it up into two segments initially and see how they, first go. Because again, I'm starting at base point,
We've never
which
done it
is,
before.
And
so
we
we
just say that review of the long-range financial plan, I would, instead of that, I would say, let's review
Yes.
overall outstanding capital needs, which is, the road plan, the sewer plan, so I think, and then TMDL status report, does that really, this water meter guy, he really didn't have to talk for an hour and a half, TMDL, I don't think we need an hour and a half.
I don't know,
I was pumped about it, but I get geeked out with the infrastructure. But to Trustee Amenta's point, one of the things we could do is pick a couple for that night and try to, on the 22nd, that's a good example. I have, 2 items in the cow. One, we could start with some of those capital long-range needs, hit a couple, and then cut at a certain time, and then finish with committee structure. It's really dependent on how much, or I could just put the committee structure on the regular board meeting.
That's what I'm saying, we can always open up a Cal, it's just that other item will probably go to the village board meeting, so that's fine too. It's just more time somewhere, and you just gotta find where it is.
I just wanted, if we do that, I just want to do that with everyone understanding that that's what I'm doing. Because sometimes we get into meetings and I can see the look, oh my goodness, what is she doing, putting all this on on this agenda, right? And some things that I think won't take very long do, only because I don't have a crystal ball, right? So I can't envision where everyone's at. But because there are some things from a business perspective that we have to keep moving on other projects.
The only thing that's different, if you keep it in a Cal versus a different meeting, is that a Cal's kind of mandatory, so those items then we're all here for. So if you did do, these, say you had 3 workshops or something, those don't necessarily, we're not taking a vote necessarily. It's more of, if you can make it, you please do. So I guess it's more voluntary. I'm pretty sure because they're such big topics, most people will want to be there. But there's not that, it's not the same feel. So either way, it's going to be extra time. So that's all I was trying to make the point of, is whether it's going to be required that you have to be there for that time, or whether it's gonna be more of a, these are higher things, and if you have an interest, come. Is
Well, I
that
think-
correct to say?
I don't know, I mean, I think sometimes, what I find really valuable about these larger discussions is just hearing from each person. But I think sometimes what drives us into more is that then we start trying to convince each other. And I don't know, if we're not taking a vote at any time, at those times, then I think that it can be pretty focused, because we're all reviewing the same information, we're all sharing with each other pretty, very directly about what our comfort level is, what our priorities are. And there's no pressure, because we're not taking a vote at that time, it's more kind of contextual, informational. So really, and it's time we can ask each other questions, but we don't have to try to influence anyone, and that's what really takes a lot of time, I think, sometimes where we go. So that's why I'm confident that we could probably, I like the Saturday retreat idea, and maybe 2 of those, or we could try 1 and see with that type of understanding that we're really not trying to get it to we don't have to all agree at all, we're really trying to see where we're at, so that it's more of a proactive approach to considering different.
I mean, the advantage of a Saturday is we could get it all over with.
Yeah, no, I really like that.
Get it over to one.
I would commit to 1 Saturday, like a longer one. I think once you start saying like, let's have 5 workshops, then it's like, all these kind of details. I think that could kind of, that's like a
I
scope.
totally agree. I wouldn't want to put all those topics into 1 Saturday, and I don't think that's nice to do to the public either. That's a long day for anyone to commit to hear about that. The only reason I mentioned series, and I hear that that's not feasible at this moment, but was it's shorter periods of time, and it informs the public so that they can come to the topics they want.
But again, if we're just doing kind of a go-around, we're
Yeah.
doing kind of a presentation, which everybody will have read the information, so it doesn't have to be, we're not starting from scratch. And then we're doing a go-around of where's everybody at with this and why, or, we can ask each other questions. And then it's kind of like, do we have any follow-up? And if that follow-up, then we schedule that for another time. But we try and move through. Like that Saturday one, we really did move through whatever our agenda was. I don't remember what it was for, but But we were, I think, and with our budget discussions, we did a really good job.
Well, the Saturday also was in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not like at the end of the day when we're all kind of dopey.
Yeah, no, so I think if we kind of all commit to that, then, and to the point, like, if we really just can't resolve and we feel like we need to come back, then we can make that commitment to do that. But at least it would give us that base that we never get to.
Right.
And that, I think, is what's really important.
Trustee Moore.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, I agree. I think let's try let's schedule a Saturday, let's see how it goes, and if we need more Saturdays, we'll do that too, or we'll put it in Cal. But I think the idea of a Saturday and just kind of having this open discussion is a good idea, and, we don't need to outline everything we're going to do tonight, but I think starting off with 1 Saturday is a good place to start.
And like the topic to start would be like pavement management plan?
Yeah, so
I think, actually, all the plans.
Yeah, I
we
would
could
say
do all
the
3.
plans, your capital budget, monitors, and your long-range plan.
Yep.
Go through what you have.
Go through what we have, see where we get. We'll have a list, just like in budget, we'll have a list of things that need more conversation or
Yeah,
something. But maybe that list would be all hypothetical, and we don't need to do it right now, or we would know when to bring it back. I've seen this
Maybe
group do
it's
that.
like a review of plan, but let's all try to come together with a list of plans, because we have a
Yeah.
bunch, the sustainability plan, not all of them are on the website. I don't think pavement management plan, maybe it is on the
It's in
website.
the
The
archive.
original one?
There's 2 of them.
Yeah,
There
we're
is a
gonna
link
need a
somewhere.
special, so if we can get Rebecca a list of the ones that we know about, that we think would be, those of us who've been here for a while, I think that'd be worthwhile.
I nominate anything trustee Menta puts on the list, I will review.
I mean, some of them are long, we should probably do it for later, Jay, because we're all gonna have a lot of homework.
It would be helpful to have, like the pavement, we've talked about issues, but we really haven't sat down and visited the plan
Right.
and what the intent was and what you're trying to accomplish and the alleys and if you do, you know, the moving pieces, so before we started, we understand how the pieces were set up and we
Well,
can
and it
adjust.
was also at a time when there was a really big appetite for borrowing, and that's shifted. So again, you know, to tie it with the long-range financial plan, I think is great. And I also think, yeah, we're a new board, but we've covered a lot of ground, and we're all really smart, and I put myself in that category. And we can do it, like, again, and we've all made the commitment, so I'm really confident.
I know we don't have a facilities management plan, but if there are a group of plans that fall under that, like, whatever facilities we own, if there's a plan about them, if we can group those together, it'd be great.
And the only one I've seen is the DPW gift for the yard.
Yep.
But see, again, I mean, I think Leanne and the facilities guys, they all know, they know that they.
That's what I'm saying.
If
If there's anything out
They
there,
have it in
just-
their head, they just have to
The
put it.
groupings would be great.
So I'm pivoting
Yeah.
to talk about timeframe.
Yeah.
And I have one thing on the annual plan I just want to bring up.
So, we need to talk about
When?
when
Second weekend in February.
I'm gone.
Is that
What?
I know, I rarely ever leave to go anywhere.
Okay,
Second weekend.
First or third weekend in February, just with the back and
last
forth.
weekend in January.
What about February 1st? I mean, 2nd, I'm sorry.
I'm gone.
I can't.
You're gone? Oh,
That's bad.
January 26th? I just had a soccer game. You're gone after that. Yeah, we could do it in January.
If that's enough time for staff to get things done.
And by the way, I don't know if other staff is available at these,
Right.
so like,
Yeah, that's.
Well,
I need to
right
go
on
back, and this is a
Saturday.
problem the last time.
Why don't,
Yeah.
can you check January 26th and then the third weekend in February, just for some optionality?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay.
And then consider what the staff requirement would be, what are, I mean, I think we should, as a board, be honest about what is our expectation on that, you know, like how much do we really need staff there, or could there be pre-work? Is it more of a time for us to talk together and that type of thing? Because if that is a time when a lot of questions, like Q&A comes up, then I kind of,
It will be.
I think we definitely.
Especially the road
plan.
plan.
I mean, I don't know.
And Mark.
We need
New stuff.
financial. I mean, if we get into,
Those two people.
if we get into, issues about our comprehensive plan and our sign ordinance and that, you know, I mean, we could have another one with art, because there's a lot of big issues to talk about there too, and the test stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of comprehensive, there's like Vision 2020, there's also, I mean, there's like 3, there's a central master visit, and, you know, I was amazed that there were a lot of plans on the books that I just.
There are.
So I'm just coming back, I want to make sure I have these dates. So I'm going to be looking at January 26th and then February 16th.
yeah.
February 16th.
And then I guess I want to talk about time more. Are we talking like 8 to noon? Are we talking 9 to 3? Are we talking?
Morning.
Yeah, why don't we do,
9 to 3.
9:30 to 3 with lunch, we'll buy lunch. Should be done.
What was it? Sorry,
And 9:30 to 3, so we'll buy lunch.
on what day?
I mean, we could get a lot done in 9:30
February
to 3.
16th and
Or the- or
January
the
26th.
26th, yeah.
Or, it's or.
Yeah, sorry, I just got, my, just so you know, after 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to get too detailed, let's
Yeah.
resolve this and move on.
Yeah.
5 or 10.
I think we might need a little subcommittee to kind of
Yeah, coordinate it.
plan, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'll start inquiring.
So the only thing that I had on the annual work planner is I do remember talking about next time we go to bonding, could we do the discussion of the long range plan before we go out to bond? Because it really cut, this year, when did that happen? I can't remember, but we adopted our projects that we were gonna bond for, and then we started talking about the projects in the long range plan we'd already committed for that year. So that discussion, I remember talking about, is there a way to flip that so that we actually talk about what we want to bond for so we don't tie up a whole year.
So, sure, and we don't bond this year, which is, so Mark didn't grade out. He put in placeholders, and I apologize for that. I had a grade out before.
But even for the next.
Right, but I hear
Okay,
your
you're just
comment,
gonna say,
yep.
okay.
It looks like it is earlier. It looks like it's in April and May. Oh, the presentation is in June, and then the bonding is around the same time.
And, authorizing issuance in June, approving the bonds in July, receiving bond proceeds in August.
So as long as there's, for some reason, it looked like it was still backwards, but if not, perfect. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was getting that link eventually between your capital budgeting, which is whether it's long-range plan, and then making that link to how that affects your operating budget when we get into operating budget, like, just talking through that, because there is a link. It's, you know, you decide and then you come up with your debt service, which affects your operating budget.
Could this be part of the committee? Okay. Could we go offline with any more details?
Sure, those are my only two.